So, in the wake of the season 3 finale and the revelations is brought upon us, let's remember this little gem of a game, where they have the same premises, but they kinda mixed up the ponies. Well, they didn't mix up the ponies, it was like had years upon it before this whole icon thing started. But still, let's enjoy this kind of game. I'm doing this commentary in post because this was kind of a special project of mine. Well, not regarding to the game, but regarding to how I did this. I basically recorded bits and pieces of this game over a weekend and tried to post them all together. And that called for some kind of editing process. And if you're watching this video, you might have a knowledge that I am kind of bad with video editing, so what I wanted to say is ultimately, can I do it or not, and turns out I can't. I mean, it doesn't show within this video itself because it's just basically me playing the game and destroying all those bosses. But you don't have any idea of what kind of hellish dimensions have I need to go through to make this work. You know, I basically did this whole thing in Vegas, and then when I had it all figured out, I tried to render it and it proved to be unrenderable for some reason once again. You know, sometimes it just cut out parts of audio, then cut out part of video, then other times it would just record some kind of laggy quality and stuff. So, you know, no matter how many times I try to render it, and it always takes like half an hour to even attempt to render this kind of stuff. Because I couldn't render like part of this video. What I'm saying is, you know, it might cut out like a part of an audio somewhere, so, you know, rendering part of this video would be useless. Ultimately, what I come to doing is just, you know, using the previous screen and recording this Bandicam once again. And despite how such a crude method that was, it still wasn't enough, because even within the project itself, it kind of refused to play right on the occasion, so I had to like record parts of this video and then, you know, bind them all together once again. I don't think it's like the right way to do this. Plus, it took me a ridiculous long amount of times to make it work. And you know, it's not like I did not figure out how to like do stuff, but still, you know, it took ridiculous long amount of time to simply like press the render button and render this video. I don't know, there's a lot of like things about codecs, aspect resolution and stuff, and how they work, so rendering isn't such an easy process. Mind. And maybe this is where I fail all the times. But to get to the point, I kinda don't want to do this anymore. And, well, not like record videos, because, you know, I kinda got used to like seeing pony games and just making a recording out of this. And I always had this thing in mind where I do this mostly for myself to look back at in the future. Just making it public was the later thought. But I kinda don't want to go into editing to produce like more quality of these videos and stuff. So perhaps I've hit the pinnacle of what I can actually produce. I can't say like I produce this because I don't do anything but press the recording button and play someone else's game, and then add up a lot of my garbage to it. And you know, it shows. It does show. So yeah, I don't think you would, even if you stumble upon this, I don't think you would, you know, see anything better than this in the future. So yeah, that's kind of it. Moving on to the ponies, Twilight is now an Alicorn. Yeah. You know, we've known this for months now, maybe 3 weeks, when it first got confirmed, kind of. And you know, the hints were there since the beginning of the season. Not that it was like just one thing to happen with ponies, you know, now they going to have a movie and maybe like a spin-off series, which puts ponies in human form according to rumors and makes them into high school and stuff. Plus Hasbro kinda closed down main 6 to adapt to injury. So yeah, this season finale can lead the Bronny into a bitter... Well, I can't say desperate because, you know, there's nothing to despair about, the show is still good and stuff. But still, this kind of a bitter mood of where you can get worried about where the show would go. And to me, honestly, I don't think it's because of all the Alicorn and stuff, and you know, or basically don't matter. But looking at this, it kinda makes you realize that ponies are actually an IP that's owned by Hasbro, and it's been so for over 25 years, maybe, or maybe less. I kinda don't really know, but still. And you know what any company does with IP, they try to like make money off of it, and you know, produce some kind of content to do so. And you know, with such goals in mind, they would more often make some things that aren't quite as well. How should I put it? It wouldn't be good for the show itself, what it tries to achieve. So yeah, sometimes they may produce some kind of horrible material, or may not. It's not about like what the I can do, because nowadays it's nothing to worry about. The show is still good. And you know, if they don't radically change the writers and the animators on this, will be good within the seasons it produces. But what I'm trying to say is it's kind of, you know, a franchise that exists here to bring more money to peoples. Well, to take money from peoples and bring them to a corporation. Remember how Bronny started? I think it was like CEO branch on 4chan, where they brought up an article which talked about the end of creator-driven era, and nowadays I don't even remember what this article was and who wrote it, but the point of it is that cartoons nowadays are getting more on the franchises side of stuff. They have like Transformers and ponies which exist to sell toys, and they do less of like original ideas creators produce. And the article kind of failed because it mentioned some good shows within itself, and ponies was one of it, and that's how Brony started. But looking at it nowadays, maybe it has some things right with it. Ponies are kind of a franchise to sell, you know, toys to children. And maybe what they became a fan of was like Lauren's idea, which was kind of a coincidence that they gave fourth generation to a fan of the first generation, so she brought up her vision of the show. And you know, that's kinda counts as, you know, creator-driven things, because you know, fans always produce quality. Well, not always, but fans do tend to produce material that's closer to heart of the matter than, you know, anything that produces just to like boost sales, make money, and you know, get it more popular. And seeing as Lauren no longer works on the show, maybe it lost its originality and just become some kind of a good franchise. I don't know. Now Capcom's Mega Man is a good franchise, and then Harry Potter is a good franchise. Well, I don't think they produce like some kind of Harry Potter toys. Maybe they do. Maybe they have conventions already. I have no idea. But looking at ponies, it's settled to be like this thing with a fan base, which kind of repeats a lot of things out there that have their own fan base, maybe like anime and stuff. And
Solar flare.
I don't even know what I'm rambling about nowadays. What I'm trying to say is perhaps with all these years gone, some kind of novelty on the ponies are lost. People have already settled. They have like their bookmarks, which they check regularly. They've got into ponies, they have like some kind of forums, threads, Facebooks, conventions and stuff. And now this is nothing surprising, and the show just moves on.
No! You haven't won! Don't delude yourself!
Celestia.
Come to me, elements
I hate big time events actually, but getting back to the ponies, I don't think I don't think people would need to look backwards and see where has this thing gone. Because it's legitimately like a new world there.
Be banished to the moon by the elements, or surrender and be banished
even
to the
perhaps
moon by the elements.
Bronies are nowadays are more about themselves than the show. But they produce like content and make well they make material that is actually better than the show can produce within its own. I can tell you, I never would have become a Brony if it wasn't for the fandom itself, so perhaps now with Hasbro just trying to get more money off this show, branching out, making movies, making toys, and closing down all fan things to kind of save their IP.
Great work, Dash.
Perhaps.
You'll be okay.
Well, I cannot speak for Bronies in general because who am I to do so? But maybe I would move on to more looking forward to fan stuff. I'm sure I remember like every Saturday on season 2 I just turn to Equestria Daily and watch like this stream where they would show how they encode the episode and upload it to see it kind of. And with season 3 I kinda a new episode, let's watch it. And that might be because the show nowadays is nothing new.
She tells
Actually people are getting upset over Eloquent Twilight and because it would change like the dynamics of ponies, but I think that the show's issue is that it won't change. It would still remain the same where 6 ponies live in Ponyville and kind of deal with their friendship problems and stuff, and the shenanigans ensued. Besides, the show moved more towards this comedy crowd, where the ponies, I don't know if they were comedic in the first season, but they always came out at top, and nowadays, yeah.
Just an old family heirloom. Never was of any use.
What I'm trying to say is, if they would produce like the 4th season and the 5th season of kind of like the same Ponyville stuff, maybe it will grow stagnant. Because despite them being new episodes, they would still kind of deal with the same thing that we've been seeing throughout those years. And within this fact, it would be more so to kind of make ponies move on with their lives, make Twilight live in Kanto or deal with some kind of princess issues and stuff. talk more
Listen, let me
about
try to beat
Celestia
it.
and Luna and
Alright,
stuff.
alright,
Go more
alright,
towards
alright,
Cadence. Maybe
alright.
get some other
Wait a second.
characters
Oh,
there.
wait. You already beat this, haven't you? Totally
Well, the
wacko.
writers
Carry
told
on
us
then.
that they wouldn't like use background punish in their show in their episodes
Either you're
because
really foolish,
every
or really...
every background
No,
punish
you're just really
that is
foolish.
there kind of being produced by the fans, and they tried to do something with Derpy Hoops, and now she's been once again mostly rumors, but now she's been like phased out of the show. Whether they would go to their previous headsets, especially in Tricks episodes where they have the same crowd that was there in the first season, they edited Derpy out of this crowd shot, and
General, snap out of it! We're defenseless! Quick,
looks like
to the
Derpy is nowhere to
road!
be seen in the third season, despite the final episode. I think I saw her in the crowd there. Huh. But yeah, mostly it's because there was kind of like anonymous letter from one of the animators, even before the whole thing started, when he told us that season 3 would make Eloquent Twilight because Hasbro insisted on it, and then Hasbro also insisted on phasing their part of the show, so if one of the concepts of Twilight becoming Eloquent is true, then maybe Derpy is being phased out of the show. But she kinda isn't phased out of the marketing purposes, because Hot Topic sells her. I think there are some toys with her coming out of August from Toys R Us. Possibly find us. A lot of stuff is there, I don't know. People has been already figured out that, even if the show makes you go away, the fandom won't. Throughout season 2, she kinda represented this link between, the show creators and the fandom itself, so, the fandom kind of produces Derp, and then she appeared in the show itself. And that was cool. Well, it lasted. But yeah. Maybe this new spin-off show would be like something better. At first when they announced this movie stuff, I kinda thought they would make, a distinct movie within ponies themselves, but now they might launch this movie as, launching platform for the new IP, so nothing to see there in regards to pony movies. But, if this spin-off cartoon is aimed towards the teenage girls, as they say, first of all, it's not brownies, and not like older demographics, like they can phrase it. It's teenage girls, so it can be like teenage stuff, especially if the pictures are true and they will get in high school. But looking back at some cartoons that's been aimed towards teenagers, Teen Titans come to mind, Justice and stuff. And those were kind of good cartoons where they allowed some kind of character development, where they allowed some kind of like even dark stuff. No, not dark, but characters, the stuff where they go through kind of like dramas and things. So what I'm saying is maybe this spin-off cartoon would be more I don't know how to phrase it. No, I don't want to say that ponies are going towards comedic side, because ponies aren't slapstick, even if slapstick is there in the show. Just look at me rambling nowadays, the game is already over. So yeah, Rainbow Wake is a good game, play it for yourself.